24. Austin Peay defeated Alabama A&M by a score of 28-3. Delta State over Mississippi Valley State by a score of 28-17. Oklahoma State over Arkansas Pine Bluff by a score of 63-7. Incarnate Word over Prairie A&M by a score of 31-14. And Alcorn State defeated McNair State by a score of 30-19.
Recording in progress.
Once again, for our media that have just a call, please make sure that you have your lines muted. If you are not actively asking our head coaches a question, please wait till you're called upon before asking your question to our coaches. And please limit your questions to 2 questions, 1 question and a follow-up. If we do have time at the end of our coaches' sessions, we will work our way back to get some more questions in. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Connell Maynor with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great, Coach. As always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Austin Peay.
Yeah, Austin Peay came to us. We knew they had a good team. They were number 21 ranked team in FCS football in the top 25, and so we knew we would have our hands full, and we competed. We played very well in the first half, and again this week it was 7-3 at halftime, and the defense was playing great, and offense kind of sputtered. We moved the ball at will. We only punted the ball 1 time in the first half, and when we got down to the red zone and got close, we would make a mistake, shoot ourselves in the foot, and cost us. And I wasn't able to take advantage of field position. They got the opening kickoff, took it. They got a first down, got the midfield, and they went for it on 4th down. And we got a big stop right there at midfield, and we run the ball and get a personal foul, back us up 15 yards and kill that drive. And we should have taken advantage of that opportunity and to get some points out of it, and we didn't. And that's kind of the way we played the game on offense. We just, every time we had an opportunity, we would do something to shoot ourselves in the foot. And at the end of the day, they made a couple more plays than we did. So I take hats off to them. They well coached. They played hard, and we got to go to the film, watch it, learn from it, and move on. We start conference this week, so we got to be ready.
Appreciate those, Coach. We'll open up for questions for Coach Maynor. This question goes to Dr.
Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC. Good morning, Coach Maynor.
Good morning, Doc. How you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, we think about you oftentimes in terms of what you do offensively, but you overhauled the defense and played really solid in a lot of ways on the defensive side of the ball. Talk a little about some of the standouts on that side of the ball, what they were able to get done to give your offense a chance staying in the game for most of the game.
Around making plays, Hayes, defense end is making plays. Osbell in the secondary is making plays. All those guys are flying around. We got linebackers making plays. Got guys in secondary making plays. It's a team effort. So up front, we get some pressure, and those guys just flying around having fun. We just got to do a better job on the offense side of the ball of taking advantage of some of these turnovers and field position they give us to get that ball in the end zone.
Turning to conference game, as you get into conference travel down on the road, Tallahassee last year, classic matchup. They came from behind, obviously new team, different framework this year. But what are your thoughts in terms of the matchup after looking at FAMU thus far this season?
I think it's going to be a great matchup. I mean, we're in conference play now. Every week it's going to be exciting, competitive games, and I don't see this one being any different. We all know how hard it is to go down to Dope Stadium and win in Tallahassee. And then you got Coach Simmons always doing a great job. His team's always prepared. They're going to play hard. And then they got that 12th man, that crowd, and of course they got the band. So, we got to go out. We got to go down and play well this week. All three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. And it's going to be tough. But we look forward to the challenge. It's going to be a great football game.
Look forward to catching on ESPN Plus. Should be a good matchup. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Goes to Zach McKinnell.
How you doing, Coach? Zach McKinnell from the Blue Bloods.
Good, Zach. How you doing?
Not too bad. I wanted to talk a little bit about quarterback play. Can you say a little bit about, are you guys going to open back up the QB battle, and who do you expect to take the first snaps this weekend against Florida A&M?
Yeah, we're gonna practice them both again and see how they practice and evaluate it. And whoever we think gonna give us the best chance to win, that's where we're gonna start. And that guy's playing well, he'll stay in there. If he's not, we might have to make a change because nobody's just seeming to willingly want to just take the job and run with it. And they keep going back and forth. So we gotta let them compete again, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor, Alabama A&M. Any more questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we will be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. His availability will begin at approximately 10:15. We'll be back momentarily. All right, the time is now 10:15 Central, and we are happy to be joined by Alabama State head coach Eddie Robinson Jr. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, obviously a bye week for your program this past week, so if you could just kind of recap your bye and preview your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, so I think we did a good job of winning the bye week. And I say that because you can lose it, I feel like. Did a good job of getting everybody healthy, made sure everybody caught up on academics. Of course, that's a big part of it. Did some community service. So it was good just to try to correct all the mistakes that we've been having over the last couple of weeks, try not to be predictable and those type of things. So I thought it was a good week as far as, getting the kids back enthused and coaches recharged and everything like that. This week we have Prairie View coming to play 5 p.m. kickoff, so it should be really exciting. Our first SWAC game of the year, and it's at home, so that should be a really big deal. Bubba really good, and know he'll have his team ready to play, so it's going to be a challenge for us to get the crowd going and to play well at home.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Robinson. We'll now open up the floor for questions for Coach. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Currently accepting questions for Coach Robinson. Coach, looking at the film on Prairie View A&M, what are some of the handout to you about their team?
I think they're good at running the football and they're committed to it. So I think that's the thing we have to focus on. Of course, they can still beat you in the passing game, but they have a couple quarterbacks who've played, and it's quarterbacks who they're not trying to run to get first downs. They're trying to run to score a touch. So I think we have to focus and realize that when those guys tuck the ball down, that they're actually runners and they're committed runners, and they can score on you if you don't tackle them well.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson of Alabama State. Coach, obviously, it's your first conference game of the season. If you can just talk a little bit about, obviously, it's a game-by-game approach, but just the importance of good starting conference play.
Yeah, I think it's crucial. I don't think I have a lot of margin for error in the conference, especially in the East. I mean, you see the teams that are up there and well for us, and plus it's a home game too. So to have that first conference game at home is real big. You have those inspirations to try to win the East like we do. It's just imperative that we get off to a good start. So the emphasis to the kids, just realizing the big picture. You don't want to fall behind right off the rip. So good time to get it going at a home game.
Next question goes to Ernest Ricks.
Ernest Ricks, MTMV 40.
Going good. How's it going?
I'm doing great. Good to see you again. Coach, I have a question about quarterback this week. When you guys start off the game, who should we expect to see behind center?
Well, we're still working on it this week. Demetrius Davis, he banged up his shoulder a couple weeks ago, so he's making progress. And so we'll just see how he comes along. But the thing is, we have Miles Crawley. We look at him as a 1A type of guy, as play game. So we feel comfortable with either guy.
Awesome, thank you, Coach. Can you tell me a little bit about your the running back merit?
Yeah, I mean, Jacory's a guy has been here for a couple years, local kid out of near high school. Love his enthusiasm for the game, just works hard, kind of a do everything kind of back. Been sitting behind Ezra Gray, who was an All-American the last couple of years. So, I mean, as you can see, he's a guy that, I just love watching him play because he gives it everything every play, and that's what you want out of a student athlete.
Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Dr.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the HBC Sports Lab.
Good morning,
Coach.
All
Hey,
right.
I'm doing well. Good. Obviously, looking at Prairie View, you've been in this area for a while, but now you return home in a lot of ways, Coach your alma mater. Talk a little bit about the fact that both teams have had to kind of deal with multiple quarterback plays. How's the coaching staff, do you care for that, specifically with Prairie View playing two quarterbacks over the last?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is those guys are similar. It's hard when you have a drop back guy and then you have another guy who's a pure dual threat guy. So, but yeah, we definitely have to prepare for both of them. Both of them can command the offense. And I love quarterbacks like that. They're tough to play against because when they pull the ball down, they become really good runners. So the thing is that they're similar in style. So I think for us, the preparation is probably the same as opposed to if you had a pure drop back guy and then a dual threat guy.
Thank you for sharing that. In terms of their defense, what have you seen schematically in terms of what they're trying to get done defensively? How do you want to attack it from the Hornets' perspective?
Yeah, well, we're still working on that this week. I mean, they play hard.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. And, Bubba's going to put them in consistent situations where they don't give up a big play, but they're solid across the front. And I think on the back end, you have to take the chances that you get, but then they're not going to give you anything. And that's the big thing about defense. You want to be consistent. They tackle well and they play hard to get to the football. So it'll be a challenge for us to try to put points on the board and move the ball. But playing at home, we feel like we can come with a game plan. But, it should be a good football game. I think the kids are looking forward to it. The coaches are looking forward to the matchup.
Certainly. I look forward to it as well. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Still taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions? As always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll be joined by Alcorn State head McNair. His availability will begin at approximately 10:25 Central. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, for all of our media, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature. Get your question in the queue for coaches. As always, happy to be joined by Alcorn State head coach Fred McNair. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's big non-conference victory over McNair State.
It was a great venue down at Cowboy Stadium down in Lake Charles, man. It was great. Guys came out and played extremely hard against this good football team. I think Coach Goff had those guys ready to play in terms of what they did, offensive, defensive, special teams. But I credit my coaching staff and these young men that we coach each and every day through the week of going out and pouring their heart into it and playing extremely hard. We forced 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. Capitalized on some of the mistakes they made. The guys played extremely hard. I mean, it was a tough fought battle there. We get the ball, we kick off we get to receive the ball, get stopped. We get the ball and they stop us. It was a scoreless game going into the second quarter. Then we scored, put us up 7-0. We get the ball back and score again, put us up 14-0. 21-0 before we knew it. They get a field goal right there before the half, going into the third quarter. Come back at halftime and give up open half touchdown. But the guys played very hard. I'm very proud of these guys. They bounced back from a very tough loss against Tulane and came out and competed very well. And we put it all together as a team. Special teams, my hats goes off to our kicker, Kiani. Did a great job for us in the kicking and the punt game. Our special team was tremendous this week. Just kind of fought the whole game, and they did a great job of competing. All the effort and everything was there with this team. So I'm very proud of what they did against this non-conference McNair State football program.
Thank you for those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill. Cavill, you're on mute. Okay, we'll take a next question from Ernest Ricks.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, sir.
Coach, I did have a question. It's a little bit off. It's about Felix Harper. He signed over the weekend with Montreal. What type of quarterback are they getting in?
They're getting a total package in Felix, and Felix been competing for a long time and did a great job while he was here. Did some great things for this as a student athlete and as a player. He's a great individual, come from a great family. You can kind of tell the kind of a person, a player you're getting once you meet the family and the background they come from. So he's a complete player. They're getting a very heady guy that's going to work his butt off to play. He don't want to be given anything. He want to work for everything he receives. So Montreal is getting an outstanding guy as a player.
Coach, thank you so much.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Sorry about that, Coach. Wanted to get into the matchup in terms of your ability to get some big plays throughout the game. What do you attribute it to in terms of this matchup?
The big thing is through the week, and Coach, we talk about it all the time, just giving our guys a chance to compete for a ball, even if it's 50. And I think the quarterback did a great job of coming out last week and making the throws during the course of practice, working hard and getting open versus man-on-man coverage. We knew we was going to get a lot against McNair State. But just giving those guys a chance to compete for those balls in the air like that means a whole lot, because my biggest thing is I hate to see a ball thrown out of bounds, and I hate to see a receiver overthrown 5 or 10 yards. So just give them a chance, put it on top of the head, and let them work for it. You got receivers here in this core receiver we have, and we just need to give them a chance. I thought Aaron did a great job of giving guys a chance to make plays for him. It's not all about, he don't have to make the perfect throw or anything of that nature. Just guys just come out and compete. Just give them a chance, just get it close to them and they'll work for you. And I think he trusts now in terms of receiver quarterback continuity. They have to do the work. So we had some big plays. We had some pass interference called for us, and it was great to see our guys compete for football.
Last question I have for you, Coach, is you get in conference play. You had hosts on South Pine Bluff. You went up there last year. It was an intriguing matchup in terms of having to come back. No, it's a different year, different team. But what are you looking forward to, a team that seems to have some confidence in themselves in terms of what they've been able to do non-conference wise? What do you see from Arkansas Pine Bluff, the Golden Lions?
The biggest thing is they got dynamic players. They got Skylar Prairie. He's going to throw the ball around the yard. So got a great running back in Brighton, and he's going to run the ball very hard. So those are the things that we have to compete for. We had a tough outing last year against them, and we had to really work hard. Compete. Doc Gamma going to have those guys ready to play. Just from how we did last year, coming back and fighting. I think the biggest turnaround that we have this year, and we got more depth than we had last year up front. So that's going to be a big difference in the things that we do in terms of this football program. I think that we did a great job of going out and addressing the positions that we needed to address in terms of getting more depth for our team. And I think we did a great job on defense and the defensive front, at the linebackers too, of getting more depth those positions that we needed in terms of rotating guys in and out, getting them some blows, giving them some rest. So, Doc gonna have these guys ready to play. We got a tough outing for all of us. They got a great defense, do a lot of things on defense. They create problems, but we just got to be prepared this week as a team. And like I told the team last week, it's all about us. It's all about Alcorn State brand of football and how we play.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Luke Williams.
Hey, Coach, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Why has it been so difficult? It says this is the first win the SWAC team is beating McNair State. Why is it taking this long? What is it about McNair State and the way they played it? It's been difficult for SWAC teams to get
McNair State has always been a program that always make the playoffs in years past. So, you're looking at one of the top FCS football teams that always competing in the playoffs. And the biggest thing is, we played them 2 years, and we lost to them by 3 1 year down there, and then we lost to them by 7 here 1 year. So, it's almost. And I think it's about broken now to where we're competing on the same level as those national FCS team. You take Stephen F. Austin. Right now, we could easily be sitting at 2-1 instead of 1-2. The competition that we have and the brand of football players that we go out and recruit is kind of equal up to the same level of those playoff teams that make the playoffs. So you take a southeastern Louisiana that played Florida A&M last year with the talent they have. Us being able to compete, against those playoff teams now that we have an opportunity to put teams in the playoff and also a team to go into the Celebration Bowl. It means a lot to this conference. You get that large bid in the conference to go to the playoffs, and now you got one team in a bowl game. So those things that really matter to the programs, for the schools, and it really matters to the players. Just having an opportunity to play against those type of teams that always make the playoffs each and every year. I mean, 1 year in 12 we went up to James Madison and competed against James Madison. Those type of teams that really makes you better and makes you compete harder. You learn a lot of things from them, and you learn a lot of the character of your players as well. So it means a lot when you get a chance to play teams like that, and being able to compete and get wins from them. Thing that we look at in terms of coaches and players.
Big win. Congratulations on that win. What about the play of your quarterback? Tell me how you like how Mr. Allen's coming along.
I tell you what, he's done some great things. This is a great thing this past week. And you know, the thing is about him, he's always moving forward. You don't make the same mistakes over and over. You know, we addressed the issue that we was having in terms of receiver quarterback relationships, in terms of giving them a chance to catch the ball, and that's what he did from to this week, from the last couple of weeks that we played. You know, he gave the guy the chance. Didn't overthrow no receivers. He had them right on the money. Just give him a chance to make plays, and you know, he made some runs for us this past week for some first down. I'm very excited to see that. You know, he's not a very speedy quarterback, but he can elude the pressure and make plays with his legs. So I'm very excited to see that about him in terms of what he's doing in the pocket. I think the offensive line is getting an opportunity to stir downfield at the 2 and 3 receivers. You know, so I'm just looking for better things out of him, and he's going to only get better because this is a young man that really want to learn and progress in his quarterback play. So love to come watch film. He's down in the meeting rooms all the time, you know, with the quarterback coach, Coach Phillips, done a great job of giving these guys opportunity to compete in that room. So just looking for bigger and better things out of him, the way he play. Each week he's going to get better.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, sir.
Last question for Coach McNair goes to Zach McKinnell.
Zach McKinnell, the Blue Bloods. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Your defense was able to have an impressive performance, over 10 sacks this weekend, more years with 2 or more sacks. Can you speak to your defense's ability to get after the quarterback and what you want to see moving forward throughout the season from that front seven?
Just that, and I tell you what, you know, bringing in Coach Jonathan Bradley as a defensive line coach and Roberson as a linebacker coach, that front seven, man, they really got out of this weekend. And in terms of that, we talked about having depth on the defensive line and linebacker position. You know, we got guys stepping up. You know, Claudine Cherry-Luz didn't play this week. You know, but we had guys that come in and step in and make plays. You had Terrence Ellis that come in and I think he ended up with 2 sacks. You had defensive lineman Devin Dawson had 2 sacks. So those guys came in, and then to spill those guys over, you had Chris Ballard that comes in and make phenomenal plays, and Malachi Bailey, you know, guys are making plays for us up front. Those guys gonna really help us. And as like I said, you know, we just got to keep them healthy, get them to the fight. In terms of what we do defensively, I think it's Coach Thomas and that staff did a tremendous job of game planning for McNeese State this past week. Be the same way this week. We're gonna game plan for University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and make sure that we're doing the things to contain Skylar Perry and also the running back Britton. So they got some dynamic players over there. We just got to put all the pieces together and make sure that, you know, we do the right thing with these guys of making them work hard through the course of the week and getting ready for the game on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach McNair, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next, we're happy to be joined by Bethune-Cookman head coach Terry Sims. I do see coaches with us. All right, we're going to ask Coach Sims, can you hear us? All right, we're going to pause momentarily while we reach Coach Sims. Thank you for your patience. believe we might be experiencing some technical difficulties with Coach Sims, and we'll try to get this resolved and return momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, obviously, this past week, a bye week for your program. So if you could just kind of start us out by recapping the bye week and our preview opponent.
Bye week was, I think, good for us. We had 2 tough losses and just trying to figure some guys out around here, have a few new guys in our program. So we were able to get back to basics, go back to square one, and fix a lot of little things that we had going on, which was, great for us. I thought we needed the time to recap those first 2 games and kind of get back to who we are. So we had time to get guys healed up with some, bumps and bruises, and also kind of slow things down and fix a lot of little things we had going on. As far as our opponent coming up this week, regardless of the game they played on Saturday, it's a really talented Grambling football team coming in here. We know that. You can see it on film with everyone that they've played. They have a lot of weapons in a lot of different areas, and we're going to have to make sure that we bring our A game to be able to have an opportunity to win this game. If you look at the quarterback, they have a couple of dynamic quarterbacks. They have some really, really talented receivers, and I think their backs are really, really solid runners. They have guys that try and be explosive every time they touch the football. They have a very active defense, 2 defensive ends, I think, that could probably play anywhere. They do a great job at what they do. So we have, our work cut out for us, but looking forward to it.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How's it going this morning, Coach Sim?
Going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You talked about in the off week, kind of getting back to the basics, recalibrating your team in a lot of ways, but getting into this matchup and this week, more importantly, you talked about other dimensions offensively of what they get done for Grambling, but specifically, it seems like what they're able to do on the ground can really open it up. How do you attack
I
that
think,
defensively from that perspective? Trying to stop that run.
right. And I think, the first thing, defense one-on-one, if you're going to stop the run, you have to make sure that your gap sound. We have to make sure the guys that are supposed to be in the A gap are in the A gap, and the guys that are supposed to be in the B gap, they're in the B gap. And we're not getting washed past our gaps. We're not spinning out of our gaps. We're not playing out of our gaps. So that's number one. They do have a good ground game, and we have to make sure that we're gap sound to give ourselves a chance to stop the run.
Yeah. At home for this matchup offensively. Obviously, you won't tell us the game plan, but we'll take it if you break that down to us. Surprise everybody.
Well,
but offensively, what are some things that you want to get done?
Honestly, it's not a secret. We want to get the ball in our playmakers' hands. I think we have a good group of receivers, a group of guys that can be explosive. We have an amazing tight end, and we have 3 backs that can run the football. So it's up to us to get the ball in those guys' hands, and we have to, get our offensive line back playing the way we know the way they can play. We had 2 guys that were out last week, but they're back with us. So, I'm thinking that's going to make a little bit of a difference for us, just with continuity, just with guys being used to playing with each other and, guys being beside each other all camp. So I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to those guys getting back in there together and putting an offensive attack together that we can show that we know how to score points, we know how to run the ball, we know how to throw the football.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup this weekend.
Thank you.
Last question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, good morning. I hope you and everybody in Daytona are well. Can you just talk a little bit about the transfer portal and NIL and opportunities for student athletes and what that can look like with BCU?
Coach, I apologize. I think you might have gotten inadvertently muted. There we go.
No problem. I think, we handle the transfer portal as you're not going to live in there. I think you still have to have a base for your football team and have some student athletes that you actually recruit and grow into your program. And I know a lot of folks say, well, a lot of coaches don't have that time. I don't think any of us have that time, but I still think you have to have some guys in your program that are not transferable guys. Some guys that you actually groom and grow in your program. We have a few guys with NIL deals, and I really leave that up to our compliance folks and the student athlete. As long as I'm made aware of it, I don't really get too in depth and too involved in that because it can get hairy at times. But we've used the transfer portal. It's been good to us when we used it. We've gotten some quality guys out of there and some guys that we're looking to make a difference for us here when we hit conference play.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll be joined by Florida A&M head coach, Willie Simmons. I do see Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, obviously a bye week for your program this past week. If you could just start us out by recapping the bye and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, I thought the bye came at a really good time. We had 3 really tough weeks, mentally and physically. So gave our guys a chance to just kind of get centered a little bit. Came off our first win of the season the week before, so was able to ride that momentum into the bye week. Had a great week of practice, we felt. We're able to rest some guys and get them closer to being able to play this coming week. We know we are back in conference play against a feisty Alabama A&M team that is playing, better every single week. And so got to be ready to play, ready for a 4-quarter football game. Got to have a great week of preparation. And these guys are recharged. And I had a great practice yesterday and got to stack a few more together before the Bulldogs come to town and hope to continue our home winning streak here at Bragg.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good morning, James.
When you look at Alabama A&M, it's a new look ball club. Mr. Glass is not there in the pocket, but just talk a little bit about what you're seeing from A&M.
Well, you're seeing a team that's playing better every single week. They played 3 really tough opponents. UAB is one of the top teams in Conference USA. Troy, obviously, doing some great things there. And Austin Peay is a really good FCS program. And so you see defensively, they're getting stronger every week, giving up less points. They play extremely hard. They're all over the place as far as where they come from defensively. So you definitely have to be ready to pick up various pressures. They're going to challenge you, getting your face to play man-to-man. And for us, that's kind of been our Achilles heel so far this season, just being able to win those one-on-one. So it's a great challenge for our wide receiver core to see if we can create separation at the line of scrimmage, for the O-line, see if we can pick up their multiple, protect the quarterback, and then for Jeremy to see if he can be accurate with the football. And so we definitely have a challenge on that side of the ball. And then their offense, obviously, when you lose a player like a Quill Glass, takes you a little bit of time to figure out who you're going to be identity-wise. I think they're getting closer to that. And so obviously our defense has our hands full to make sure that they don't find that identity against us this weekend. So all in all, it should be, a really great matchup. 2 well-coached football teams, 2 teams that, still have a lot to play for, and should be a great one.
Coach, the Rattlers, are all the guys back? What's the latest on that? And just talk a little bit about the health of your football team.
We're still waiting on a few guys to be, cleared. As far as health goes, injuries, still have a few guys banged up from the Albany State game. Running back, we're a little bit wounded right now. Everywhere else, we should be in pretty good shape, So hopefully we can get a few of those guys back. We're obviously going to need to run the football this week to be successful. But aside from running back, we're pretty banged up. We think we're pretty deep everywhere else.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thanks, James.
Next question goes to Zach McKinnell.
Zach McKinnell from the Blue Bloods here. How are you, Coach?
Hey, Zach.
My first question is on the defensive side of the ball. One of the major transfers in Isaiah Major had a big role these first few games on the defensive side of the football. Can you speak to his development and what you've seen from him these first few weeks?
Well, Isaiah's a guy that brings a lot of tenacity to the defensive linebacker core. He's a very fast individual, very instinctive, and plays sideline to sideline. So he's made a ton of plays for us, and we're going to need him to continue to play at a high level as we get into conference play. Obviously, the competition gets a lot stiffer, and teams have a lot more familiarity with one another, being that we played each other every year. So we got 3 games on film now that teams can scout him and game plan for him. And so he's got to continue to play at a high level. But right now he's playing really good football for us.
And this weekend you have your your second conference game with Alabama A&M. They've shown a few quarterbacks over these first few weeks. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges of trying to prepare for multiple quarterbacks going into this weekend?
Well, obviously, you game plan for the scheme, and then you try to get a good beat for what they're doing schematically when each guy's in the game. Coach Taylor does a really good job offensively for them, has so for a really long time. And so I think it's only a matter of time before they figure out who their guy is and what to do with that individual, at the quarterback position. So we'll have to be ready for a little bit of everything. We know where our stress points are with the calls that we make, and they're going to try to attack those. So whichever quarterback's playing, I think the job for our defense is to know where we're vulnerable and try to make sure that we take care of those vulnerabilities and don't give up big plays.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to
inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Simmons, how's it going?
Hey, Doc, good to see you.
Always a pleasure. You talked about one of the things going into the season I thought was the depth of your backfield and the talent. But with them being a little banged up, you look at the last matchup and thus far for A&M, defense is becoming a lot more solid and kind of where they hang their hat. But it seems like you'll be able to run the ball on them. Is that something you look at, or you're going to try to be more balanced in this game without giving us the schematic game frame that you talked about? How you want to attack this
Well, you always want to try to be as balanced as possible. For us, we've always been the same. We want to take what the defense gives us. If they're going to load the box and try to take away the run, we'll have to be able to win our one-on-ones outside. They're going to play coverage and try to neutralize the passing game. We'll have to be able to get a hat on the hat and get the ball to the second and third levels, and then allow our running backs to be dynamic against the unblocked defender. And so for us, it's about, again, quarterbacks making the right decision with the ball. It's a read option offense. So he's got to read the defense and make the right decision with it. And if that's the case, should be able to effectively move the ball up and down the field if we win those one-on-one matchups. When we get matched up against a safety with a running back, we got to make that guy miss. We get one-on-one matchups outside. We got to be able to create separation with our route running and get the ball thrown in time and complete passes. So it's not a complicated game. We make it complicated a lot of times, but it's that simple. They load the box. We have to throw the ball when our matchups outside. If they play coverage, got to be able to get a hat on the hat, with the front and get the ball to the second and third level, and then the running back's got to be dynamic. And so that'll be our game plan. And if we can execute that, we like our chances.
Well, Coach, trying to make it complicated is how we sell the game. So I like making it a little more told in that secret before, but don't tell everybody. Gary Quarles, as everybody's listening to this, Gary Quarles has been really solid. He continues to be dynamic in terms of a back. And obviously, as you're trying to find out what you're going to do schematically from a quarterback, moving away from all different quarterbacks, what are your thoughts in terms of what Gary Quarles brings to the table, is able to get done, and what do you do to kind of nip him in the bud, if you would, not allowing him to get going?
Well, he's the one constant, right? You talk about a Quill Glass being gone. They lost some dynamic players from out wide last season. But again, he's that constant, he and Ibram. And so again, you got to know what those two guys are. And if they can get the run game going, obviously opens things up, for their offense. So we'll have to be great against the run. He's one of the top running backs in the conference. And so we definitely have to try to do our best job to tackle well, get 11 hands to the ball, and, not allow him to have an explosive game.
Coach, good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you, Doc.
Coach Simmons, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you next week.
Thank you, guys. I'll be blessed.
Thank you. Next up, we're happy to be joined by Grambling State head coach Hugh Jackson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, if you please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing at Jackson State.
Well, obviously, we were disappointed. We didn't play as well as we think we could, and Jackson State had a lot to do with that. They played extremely well in the second half. We thought we fought in the first half and just didn't hold on and be strong in the second half, didn't finish well enough. So we know we have some work to do. That game really showed us where we were and where we need to get to. And again, it's another loss that we earned. So we're looking for an opportunity to play again this weekend.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Morning, Coach. I hope you and the fellas are well. When you look at Mr. Hawkins, Mr. Washington, and also Mr. Rash, just talk a little bit about the production in the first half and what your takeaways are from that.
Well, I thought I had a chance to make some plays early, and Maurice did. As you mentioned, Rash made some catches there as well, and Q Hawkins was able to distribute the ball. But obviously, we wasn't able to keep that going throughout the game. But the first half was kind of the way we like to play. We like to be able to mix it up with the run and pass, but we got to be able to continue to do that consistently throughout 4 quarters of a game.
Next stop, Daytona Beach. You're not going to the beach. You're going to play a football game. Talk a little bit about the Bethune matchup and what you envision.
Obviously, it's a big matchup for us. They're coming off a bye, and so they've had a couple weeks to get ready and heal up. And so, obviously, they'll be ready to play. It's in their home stadium, and so we got to pack a good team and go down to Daytona and go play some good football.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How's it going this morning, Coach Jackson?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate that. As you talked about the first half, you were able to do some things true to character of what you want to get done in your football team, balance, run, pass, big plays, both on offense and defense. How do you go back in terms of the practice and continue to refrain and make that more of a long-standing matchup of what you do for entire game?
I think what it showed us is that we got to coach it and push and demand things at even a higher level because it's in there. We saw it for the first half to be 21-17 with that team, which I think is a really outstanding football team. We continue to grow and get better. And I think to a man, we understand that. So I think it's pretty simple. You got to make sure that you finish games as much as you can. I think every coach is looking to do that. And we just got to do it better than what we did it this past week.
Oftentimes, coaches talk about the simplicity of the game. Obviously, for fans and media pundits, oftentimes we try to make it more schematically differently. But when you get into this Bethune team, what are some things that you want to get done from a defensive perspective to slow down what they're trying to get done with Bethune-Cookman?
Well, I think the most important part as a defense, I think it's very well out there. We need to make sure that we stop people from scoring. That's just what it is at the end of the day. Pass defense, good run defense, and we have to do that better than what we have. So we need to improve that way, and I think we're looking forward to doing that.
Thank you, Coach Jackson. Look forward to the matchup this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ernest Ricks.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? This is Rick from MTMV Sports. I have a question about Lewis Matthews, your linebacker. He played a great game. Talk to us about him and his contributions to your defense, Coach.
He's been awesome. I mean, he's been one of the heroes over there on defense so far this season. He's been very consistent for us. He's a consistent playmaker for us. Every week, he's one of the guys that has made the tackles and made our defense. He's the one guy when you look over there at a high level, to be very honest with you. So he's one of the leaders, one of the guys we count on, and we need to keep him going. This year is going to be a big year for him.
Amongst the fan base, have you heard anything about the conditions during the game for fans, the conditions for the band, things of that nature? Have you heard anything about that?
I didn't hear anything about the band. I did hear about the fans because we had several parents there, and I know there were some issues with water and to be in a situation where it could be a little bit cooler. But that's understandable. It was a nice hot day, football day, and that's what we all look forward to. So I don't know what went on with the concession stands or anything like that, but I just know that there were some parents that I think experienced some issues that way.
Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. Coach Sanders made some comments about the fan turnout from Grambling's standpoint from Saturday's game. Were you aware of those? And if you were, is there a response from you about what he said?
No, nothing about it. And no, my head's been down and look to this next game, so I do not know anything about it.
All right. Another question I had was the game itself, in terms of like how, as a coach, do you try to lift your guys up after the outcome and in the kind of way it happened on Saturday?
Well, I mean, again, it was the tale of two halves, right? First half, looked like a football game. Second half, they played extremely well, and we did. So what we do is make it very transparent and tell our guys what we need to do to make sure that we finish better. We felt like we were right there and competing and doing some good things in the first half, and we fell off. So I, as the head coach, have to look and see why we as all are trying to do that. And then the players have to own up to those things and make sure that we get better at finishing games better.
Thanks, Coach.
This question goes to
Yes, Coach Jackson, Murray Daniels with Louisiana All-American Sports. About the talent that Coach Prime has been able to recruit at Jackson State. With you being a high-profile person yourself, do you think that there was a big talent gap between those players and your current players on the Tigers roster?
What I think is that we're into our first year. They're into their third year. When you play in a conference, you start to see what which you need to compete at a high level. And that game showed me exactly where we need to go. I'm not gonna talk about it, whether they had more talent or didn't. I don't think that's what matters. What matters is I now and my staff, we have a different opinion of what we need to do as we move forward. And hopefully by year 3, we'll be as dominant as anybody in the conference.
And as a follow-up, with you being a high-profile head football coach, yesterday another high-profile head African-American male football coach became available. Any possibilities that you have started a trend and we could possibly see Herm Edwards coaching in the SWAC one day?
You never know. Herm's a terrific coach, a great man. And obviously, if he wants to coach, I think he can coach anywhere that he would like. But boy, it'd be great to have.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
We've got time for one more question for Coach Jackson. All right, final question goes to Jay Keith. Okay, might be some technical difficulties. Coach Jackson, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, bye-bye.
Next up, we go to Arkansas Pine Bluff and head coach Doc Gamble. Good morning, Coach.
Okay.
Coach Gamble, as always, we obviously appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing at Oklahoma State.
Well, we went up to Stillwater, played a really good football team. It's, number 8 in the country, FBS level. They humbled us, that's for sure. They played really well. They played a very sharp game. They made us look like what they should have done. So, but I was proud of some of the guys that played really well. Isaac Peppers stepped up to the moment. Mark Evans, of course, some other guys that really did. It wasn't too big for him. Even Skylar Perry played well. At times did what he could do. They were solid across the board. Very, very good football team. You can see why they're ranked where they are.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the HBC Sports Lab. Coach Gamble, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you. Talked about you had multiple quarterbacks that played in that game. Was that something that you wanted to go in there to give people multiple opportunities to experience this opportunity as it started?
Well, Skylar played
getting away.
Well, Skylar Perry is our quarterback. He's our starter, and he played majority of the game. It's just his opportunity to get Jalen Macon, who's a really talented dude, get a chance to play as well. And then we got 2 other talented ones behind them. Chance Edwards played, and he's a freshman. He looked like a freshman out there. But Jalen looked like, you can see the talent where he's going to be. So we got a really good QB room. I mean, very talented QB room. We got another guy, Mekhi Higgins, too, that's been out right now trying to get it. So it's very competitive. I think it's made better. It's the best quarterback room we've had since I've been here, from top to bottom. So, and I am a guy, So, and then I got another quarterback guy here with Coach Kendrick Norton. Those guys get coached hard, but they're very talented dudes.
Let's talk about this conference, get into conference play. I know you're excited to get into that action, but you go down to the Alcorn. Obviously, last year, it seemed like you all had things going in a certain way, and then it kind of came off of it. Different season, different matchup. What do you look forward in terms of what Alcorn is doing this week that you want to stop from an offensive perspective with your defense to get your team rolling in this matchup?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out here today, and a little bit last night as well. They're solid across the board. Coach Fred McNair is going to have them ready to go like always, and then. They're well coached on defense. I work with all those guys that's on the defensive staff.
Right.
They'll be coached over there. Special teams will be good, and offensively they're gonna do what they do. And and you're not going to take them out of what they want. You're not going to force them to do anything that they don't want to do. So, and then the other thing about it too, that they're very stingy at home. It's a tough place to get a win. So it's a big time challenge. But we're looking forward to it. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I think the last year, I just go back a little bit that what we did learn about playing them is you got to play 4 quarters. You got to play it all the way. So and that was a learning lesson for us. And my thing, we do got some new guys that got to understand what SWAC play is. And so this is no other situation, no other better place to teach them about SWAC football than this one coming up this week.
To this Western Division matchup. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Doc, how you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about your takeaways. What can you take from the OSU Cowboys as you move into the reservation and get back into the SWAC play?
The speed of the game wasn't too bad. We wasn't overwhelmed by the speed of the game. That's one thing you kind of worry about every time you play a different divisional opponent from a higher level. You worry about the speed of the game. That wasn't a factor for us. They were just a bigger team and stronger team. And we got to do better in our special teams. We gave up 14 points. They blocked two and returned it. And I don't think that's ever happened in the game before. We got to make sure that people are not having record-setting days against us. And I think that was a record that day, this past Saturday.
Skylar Perry, his development, and he's got a lot of tools. Just talk a little bit about that gentleman.
Well, it's funny. What makes you develop is the guy behind you. If you're looking over your shoulder, you know what I'm saying, and you got somebody pushing you, you're going to make yourself better. If you either get better or you're going to get passed up. So, but again, he's played a ton of snaps since he's been here for us, and he's gotten better each year. And he's gaining too. When we got scouts to come in here, they really come in to watch him to see where he is, and they're starting to get a little buzz about him. That's where they were just showing up here looking to talk about Mark Evans. Now they're asking about him. So that lets me know he's really have grown in the position that and strengthened the areas that of his weakness. We already knows that we already know that he was a football player. So now he's becoming more of a quarterback, and we really like it.
Good luck this week versus Alcorn.
All right, thank you.
Currently taking questions, Coach Gamble with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Any final questions? Coach Gamble, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll be joined by Coach Dancy with Mississippi Valley State. We're a few minutes ahead of his allotted time at 11:15, so we will pause here momentarily, and we'll be right back with Coach Dancy. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media that are participating in our media session with coaches, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Vincent Dancy with Mississippi Valley State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Thank you so much for asking. Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time to join us on these calls. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing there versus Delta State.
Wasn't a very good showing for us. It was all about what Delta State had, what they did to us. They came out with a great game plan, and we just didn't execute again. Offensively, we struggled early. Late we came out and we tried to battle our way back, but of course we ran out of time. Defensively, I thought we played well, especially half, but I thought we got gassed in the end, and then execute when we need to execute, especially on third down. So it was all about what Delta State did to us, and that's about it.
Get those comments, Coach, and up for questions. For Coach, first question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I want to start off asking about a couple players. Number one, Ronnie Thomas. The game he had this past week, 12 tackles, had a couple of sacks there. But talk about what he's able to do on the defensive line.
I mean, he's been one bright spot that we've been having for sure. Week in and week out, we know Ronnie's gonna come to play. He's been having a phenomenal season so far, and hopefully he keeps that up. He's just a great pass rusher, but only now he's able to play the run, but way better than I expected. A lot of tackles for loss this season, but also he's just creating a lot of havoc in the backfield off of the tackle problem in the pass and being a great run stopper. So I'm excited about that, and he's been a great young man to watch so far.
Follow-up question to that. On the offensive side of the ball, we saw the debut of Jamar Jones. Talk about him as a quarterback and have the reins of the quarterback position been turned over to him?
Yes. Jamar came in and gave our offensive spark this weekend. Me as a coach, I'm a guy that, I look at what you do throughout the course of the week and just not on Saturdays. He had a great week of practice. And we knew that he would get this opportunity this week. Of course, we came out with TJ Goodwin, but so yes, he did what we asked him to do. He was able to move the ball down the field, up and down the field, but give our offense a spark, give our guys some life in that second half. And so yeah, we right now we're gonna see, he's gonna lead us out this weekend, and we're gonna prepare him well this weekend. We're gonna see what he can do for us on Saturday.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to James.
Hey, Coach Dancy. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. I hope you and everybody in the Delta are well. When you look at this particular rivalry, Jackson State University and Mississippi Valley, and the history of it and what this means, the importance in the Magnolia State, just talk a little bit about this game. And you can see it from both sides.
Oh man, it's been a game that everybody look forward to every year. Just the magnitude of the game, whether Jackson win or whether Mississippi Valley win, every year in and year out, it's just the magnitude of the game by the fans, the in-state rival game, and everybody want to be state champions. So yeah, it's going to be a exciting game. Of course, this week was not a great showing for us. I'm disappointed I'm disappointed for our university, but also disappointed for our conference, because you always want to represent our conference once you step out on the football field. But this week we got a chance to redeem ourselves. I think all the records out the window when this game is played. And so we just got to go out and put on a better performance against a great football team,
In closing, the hostile environment, again, it because you played there, but talk about going in, you're bringing your guys down 49 or 55. You're going into Jackson, but just talk a little bit about what you expect and Coach Prime and the guys. And it's got everything that everybody wants in Mississippi.
I mean, like I tell these guys all the time, this is what you play football for. This is why you play in this conference. You want to play against the best. And right now they are one of the best teams out there in FCS football, all of college football right now. And you should want this, the magnitude of the crowd, the excitement, the electric fans. This is what you play football for, this type of atmosphere. This is why you wanted to come to Mississippi Valley. This is why you wanted to play Division I football. A lot of guys that we brought in, of course, are transfers. So this is why they came here. They want to play against the best, compete against the best. And right now you will be going against the best this weekend.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
How you doing, Doc?
Coach, I'm doing well. Good. One thing about the Delta State matchup, you were able to get some things going in the second half in terms of that. How much of that momentum do you think you can carry over to the next matchup?
Hopefully we can carry it over. Like I say, making the quarterback change, going to Jamari. Like I say, he did give us a spark offensively. That was his first game playing for us this season. And so hopefully the guys can rally behind him and continue the effort that they played with the second half, being able to, go out and complete some passes, but also he's able to go out and use his legs as well. So hopefully we carry that momentum on to this week, because we're going to need all the momentum we can against these guys.
Obviously, you're starting to see the talent that Jackson State brings to the table, being well coached at nature. When you go at this a rivalry game, can you into a game because it's a rivalry game and have your play at a certain level, or are you still going to have to look at schematic match, or the things that you've been able to see on tape that you would take to the table more than just trying to, hey, let's match this up because it's a rivalry game to get people to play to a certain level?
I think always you have to think schematics when it comes to football. Of course, there's some things you can see on film that you want to take into the game, but also there's some things that we do that we don't want to take into the game. So all of that plays a factor. But with those guys being talented as they are, you have to be able to contain them. It's going to be hard to stop them, but you have to be able to contain some elements of the game, whether it's offense or defense. You have to be able to contain these guys. And with everybody can see that they have gotten better since last year. This is not the same football team. It's a different football team, and I think at the quarterback led by Shadur Sanders, he's been incredible this year. I think he's thrown over close to 60, 70 passes with no interception. So he's been remarkable, but also not being able to throw the ball. He's been able to hurt people with his legs this year. Something that he didn't do a lot of last year, and he's been able to run the ball. I think he has like 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns on the year right now. So we got our hands full with these young men, but I don't think the rivalry has anything to do with it. I just think it's just the in-state game that the guys get hyped about, and like I said, our records are the window right now. We just got to come out and play ball like we know we can, and we got to play hard and fast for 60 minutes, and just let the chips fall where they may.
Thanks, Coach Dancy. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Rob J.
Hey, Coach, thank you for taking my call and my question. Coach, I was concerned about, are you concerned about the 1 o'clock start? I know that's in the heat of the day. I know Grambling band and fans had issues with that. Some people passing out and everything. Are you concerned about that 1 o'clock start?
No, sir. It get hot in the Delta, so I think we'll be prepared for it. Of course, it's going to be in the heat of the day, but at the end, we practice in it. We start practice at 3 o'clock, so it's still a little hot and humid during our practice. So we'll be practicing prepared for the heat.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick.
Yeah, Coach. Last week you had talked about how you were looking for some consistency out of the quarterback position, and it seemed like Jamari Jones did some things for you guys last week, despite the loss. Will he start moving forward, and how would you assess the outlook of the position so far?
Right now, yes, he will start out this next game going into Jackson State. But like I tell you guys all the time, you have to compete throughout the week. I think it's preparation before anything. You prepare throughout the week to play the game on Saturdays. The game is played throughout the week, and you have to be consistent at that position throughout the week and improve and show not only myself but your teammates that you are that you can be that leader walking out on the field. And I thought he had a good week of practice that prepared him to be able to execute this weekend. So we're going to take it through the course of this week. Like I say, he was started out this week at practice, and hopefully we can go out and have hopefully he can go out and have another good showing this weekend. But yes, he will be starting this week.
Yeah, and so what kind of qualities or skill sets does he have that kind of make you comfortable putting him out there to start this week?
Like I said, he's a quarterback. He's able to keep things alive in the pocket when the pockets collapse, and he's able to use his legs. He's able to throw on the run. He's able to just push the ball downfield. I think at times you don't like this, but I think he's a gamer. If you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes he has good days at practice. Sometimes it's bad days. But as we can see, once he got in this weekend, he kind of turned the table for us. We were able to move the ball. We started out real sluggish again offensively that first half, but that second half he was able to move the ball up and down the field for us and get us some touchdowns.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Coach Dancy, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next up, we'll be joined by Prairie View A&M head coach, Bubba McDowell. I do see Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing there at home versus Incarnate Word.
Sure. First of all, I'm very proud of these young men. We had these guys go through some adversity, things that was out of our control throughout the whole game day preparation. And, as I told them, we only can control the things that we can control. Don't worry about the things we can't control. The only thing that we can control was on the field, going out playing against a really good football team that was coming in here to try to score a lot of points. A team that's used to scoring a lot of points, previous games. So, and like I said, I'm just very proud of these guys, the way they came out, let the bad stuff get away from their minds and clear their minds and just went out there and played football the way that they know how to play. Wasn't great throughout the course of the game, but for the most part, it was pretty good. We went out there and we competed against a very good team. Again, that puts up points, whether it was running or throwing. And we held our end of the bargain. And, we didn't play a good first half, but second half we came out, played really well. I thought we had some chances where we could have made the game a lot closer than it showed. But again, that's on us as a coaching staff, as players. As I told them in the game, we just got to stop the mistakes that we have been creating, and that's continued to hurt ourselves. We have them, in the backfield. We don't make the tackle. We dropped a lot of balls. We gave the young buck, Channing Dumas, a true freshman, came in and did well. We as I told the O-line and back, I said, you got to protect this young man. He's going to go out there. If you give him time to throw the ball, to read his keys, he was going to do that. He's a very smart kid. And again, we didn't execute on the opportunities that we had and that just come with just dropping the ball. Again, not making tackles, having Lindsey sacked in the backfield several times. And, but no, again, we played really good football against a good team in the second half. And but we got to get better. If we cut down on those type of mistakes, we can go far. We can go far.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now for questions for Coach. Our first question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBC Sports Lab.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, how's it going? You invite in a matchup with the top 10 team at the FCS level. You talk about some of the adversity. Did that adversity have to do with some of the injuries that you came into this matchup with in terms of quarterback and running back room?
Absolutely. Again, we was without Trayvon Connolly. Again, we had to start the young buck there, Dumas, and again, we told him just go in and play his game. We're gonna give him the protection, and we just, I think our OC Coach Frederick did a great job in managing the game with him. Pick and choose and when to do certain things with him, and and that's the good thing about Dumas. He knows what he can do, what his ability is, when to do it, and what time to do it. And like I said, but again, he just gotta trust those guys that are out there on the edge, again, just to catch the ball. We ran the ball as we always do. But again, you know, we don't want to just settle and just run the ball. We want to be able to throw the ball as well. And we still had secondary, while we still had 3 starters out in the secondary as well, that hopefully will be back.
Talking about moving forward with your next matchup, nice, solid, long conference road trip to Alabama State in terms of that matchup, dealing with a couple of injuries. What are your thoughts in terms of this matchup with Alabama State? Good friend of yours as the head coach, but I know the game plan will be going on in terms of what gets on. Talk a little bit about that matchup and what do you want to get done going into when you get your quarterback Connell back in that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, Eddie has been, you know, he's a great guy, man, great coach, great athlete. We know they're going to have those guys ready to go. For us, again, you know, that long trip early, when we get there, you know, get these kids rested because we know that's a long trip. Getting Connell back, you know, that will give us a chance to know now to really establish our running and passing game as well. We know that going in there, you know, into their environment, you know, they're going to be pumped. They can be ready to go as well as they should be. But again, we're going to get our guys ready to go as quickly as possible, try to get some of these injuries, get injury guys back and get them to practice in this week so they can, again, get some familiar with what they've been doing the last first game against TSU and not the last 2 weeks with them being out. So again, if we go in healthy, I think we got a really, really good chance of playing well against a good team. You know, athletes that can stretch the field, that can throw, that can run, you know, with his 11 personnel and 12 personnel. So we just got to go in, cut down on the mistakes that we've been hurting ourselves with, and I think it'll give us a good chance of coming out with the win.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Looking forward to the matchup.
Thanks, Doc.
Next question to James Hill.
How's it going, Coach? I hope you and the fellas are.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Talk a little bit about Ahmad, his ground attack. He was able to get in and score twice in the first quarter and in the fourth. But what did you see when you looked at him?
Man, you know, he's our workhorse. I mean, again, we got Jen Stewart coming back this week, number 1. And again, that's going to hopefully give Ahmad a chance to get some rest because, you know, he's one of those dudes that wants to be on the field, whether it's special teams or just the offense. You know, we try to take him off a lot of special teams, but he don't want to come off, so we kind of minimize to what we're going to use him on certain special teams right now. But he is a true workhorse, man, and I love what he's doing because, again, he's leading by example. You know, we talked this summer in our exit meeting about him coming back and doing things the right way and being a leader. And best way you're going to be that is doing it by example. And he's definitely doing that thus far.
Coach, the next game you alluded to at Alabama State, talk about going into Montgomery, very nice stadium, and getting off to a good start early to give yourself the type of foundation you want to try to compete for a victory.
Absolutely. And again, we know what they are about. We put in a scouting package together. We're gonna work on things that we need to be successful going into this game because we know the hype is going to be there no matter what. So we got to go in and, again, just do our job. You know, we won 100. You know, everybody do their job first. You know, then we should be okay. You know, and that's been the biggest thing with us. You know, we have issues where, again, okay for one half, then not the other half, then we're the first or the second. So we can put things together for, you know, 4 quarters, as we've been talking about, preaching about, you know, cut down on the mistakes and the penalties, and give us a really good chance of going and trying to win this game against Upstate State and Coach Robinson and his team.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Zach McKinnell.
Hey, Coach. Zach McKinnell from the Blue Bloods here.
Hey, Zach.
The first question is in regards to last weekend. You had a team coming in averaging almost 60 points a game, a quarterback throwing for well over 300 a game. What did you see on film, and what was the defensive game plan coming into this weekend, and how you guys were so effective in slowing that offense down?
Again, it is just a testament to these young men. Again, we came in the same game plan that we always come in. That's just to minimize the run, to tackle, and again, with them throwing the ball as much as they do and the points that they put up, we had a dime package ready to go. We had several of our DBs back. Again, not all of them back, but again, we were just trying to minimize as many points as they do and score with. We're just trying to minimize that as much as possible. And again, that's putting pressure on Lindsey. I know at the end of the game, they was just coach was just talking about how that nobody has hit them as much as we had in the course of that game. And again, that's what we wanted to do: put pressure on him, and then hopefully, help make him make mistakes. But again, that's a good football team, and anytime you give a good football team second chances with penalties that we gave them, they're going to take advantage of it. And again, we had our chances to stop them and be in this game much closer than what it showed. But again, we made some mistakes, bad mistakes at crucial times that cost us.
And a quick follow-up, you have an interesting matchup this weekend against Alabama State. There's some question marks about the health of their starting quarterback, but Miles Crawley has done a great job. What do both of those quarterbacks, what challenges do they present for you and the defensive staff at PV?
Again, they're very smart. I mean, and they do what they're told to do. Again, they operate, seem like they operate within the offense. So and they're going to take advantage. Whatever you give them, they're going to take advantage of it. And again, it's going to be on us, again, to as a coaching staff and as a guys ready to go, healed and ready to go. And again, for us, just to continue to do what we do, and that just play fast football. I mean, everybody knows that I keep alluding to how fast we are, but it doesn't matter how fast we. You got to make plays when the opportunity presents itself, and if we can play fast and make less mistakes, again, I think that's the team that the least mistake, the one that wins the game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Brian Bearfield.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good, B.
On last week, you told me about the mentality of your players and saying that if they have to keep their heads up going into this game, because if they put their heads down, they're going to get embarrassed on their home field. They kept their head. You had a lot of players that were out injured. Can you just talk about how proud you are of your players and that next man up mentality?
Absolutely. And again, I'm very proud because again, not only they accepted the challenge, those guys, second and third guys on the squad for to be, special teams or offensive defense. We had guys to step in and do their job. And we talk about that all the time. Again, just going out doing your job and something goes down. Player-wise, the next guy up has to go in and perform as if he's the first guy. And we've been preaching that all year. And again, I tell them all the time, dude, we got talent, we got backup, we got speed. It is very important that, again, you go in throughout practice, throughout the whole week, do what you're supposed to do and then carry over into the game. And again, that's what we've been doing. Coach has been doing a really good job at preparing to play a team, whoever that is, next opponent is. And, and again, just got to go out and just continue to play smart, play fast, and on the mistakes. Again, the game could be so much better for us if we just stop making mistakes that we're making in crucial situations.
Thanks, Coach. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Coach McDowell, as always, we appreciate your time. We'll speak to you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next up, we'll be joined by Southern University head coach Eric Dooley. I do see Coach there with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate your patience. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Texas.
Yeah, went into our first SWAC game. Needless to say, very, very disappointed. But a team that we faced a team that was very, very hungry and played some sound football and did their job. But I'm still disappointed in the outcome of what we should have done. Didn't play our best ball game. Had nothing to do with Texas Southern playing a good game. I just didn't feel we played our Jaguar football. But needless to say, didn't come out on top of that game.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach. After watching the film, what was the issue with the offense? Y'all had a lot of trouble moving the ball and just even getting passes thrown. What did you see on film?
Well, what I got a chance to see, I saw that we didn't execute. No, we didn't make the play. We executed at a high level. We liked the thing that was taking place, and we didn't execute, and we understood that. Our guys understood that. Now we scratched where it was itching at right now. We moved on. Of course, a game like that, you got to drop off and get ready for the next game. So fortunate enough, we were able to do our corrections and move forward.
Did you consider at any point replacing Bashan at quarterback?
No, I did not. I thought he did some things. Sometimes you got to go through some growing pains, but when you look at the film, you would say, why replace him? What are we replacing him for? We just stand, we look at turnovers, and sometimes it's clearly not that person who turned the ball over, unless it's him. So just through our coaching staff, I thought we had great eyes out on the field, and we trust our eyes, so we felt that was the best for us.
And if I may, one more. You rotated a lot of offensive linemen, like from the very start of the game. Were y'all having some injury issues there, or is that your plan to play a lot of offensive linemen, like from the very start?
No, you got to know when you got guys that are prepared, but you go into a climate where it's 94-degree heat. That's a different type of temperature for everyone. So, of course, we want our guys to be well rested. We understand what style offense that we run. So why burn a guy out when we have another guy that can come in and do pretty much the thing that we asking them to do? So, no, it wasn't anything going on with the offensive lineman or anyone else. We just wanted to substitute guys because we do the climate that we were playing in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the H Sports Lab. Coach Dooley, how's it going this morning?
Doc, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Wanted to ask you in terms of the offensive player team. You put up 352 yards, but couldn't quite get in the end zone. Are there some things that you think you can do schematically to change that, to get those points on the board?
No, when you take a look at take nothing from them, those guys did a great job, but we still feel that the things that we were trying to do was there. When you get a chance to go watch that film and some mistakes that were made and see where you can make some corrections, more than anything, we want the players to be able to see it. And they understand that, but it's just certain things that we feel real good about, and they were there, but just sometimes you got to take advantage of it.
Going into open week, what are the things that you work on as a team to prepare the following week when you get back into conference play with some matchups? What do you do during this week?
Well, we made our corrections from the last game. We feel now we just got to continue to hone our skills, get better at what we do. We like what we're doing. We like where the guys are. Of course, we say, well, how do you like it, Coach, when you lost the last game? But absolutely, we like what the guys are doing. Now we just got to get those guys prepared and be ready to go for our next contest because it is a long season.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Doc.
Next question is James Hill.
Hey, Coach, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing, James?
Awesome. When you look at the transfer portal and the NIL, those are two different concepts that are in the game, so to speak, with college football. Can you talk about them and what that can do to help the Jags and different programs around the country?
Well, I think it's going to help the programs around the country tremendously. But I can't say both aspects. It has helped the Jaguar Nation. Has helped our football team. When you talk about different things, I don't get much into talking NIL. That's a different deal, but it has afforded us some opportunities. And then the transfer portal, you can just take a look at the roster. It's definitely to be where we want to be at.
Defensively, the Jags, what would you like to see improve? And when you look at the defensive side of the ball, what are the things that you see?
Well, I think we've got to get back on what we were in the early part of the first 2 games of the season. We got to get those takeaways. That's what it's all about. Is we got to get those takeaways, and then of course, I thought this past game right here, we got to make sure that we can stop the run. We cannot let the run affect us. And I feel real confident that those guys, they understand. They'll be ready to take that task on and that challenge.
Coach Dooley, there's a lot of football left to be played. Just talk about moving forward bye week and just continuing to chip away.
Absolutely. That was my comment earlier to a question that was asked. It's a lot of football to be played, and do we feel like we're in the best position? No, you're never in the best position, but it's a challenging league. I like our chances always, and it's a long season ahead. I mean, we just in the beginning of it. I can't play thus far when you talk about conference play. So we're still excited about it. We're still ready to go. We'll be ready to go for our next opponent.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too. Thank you.
Next question goes to Zach McKinney.
Zach McKinney from the Blue Bloods here. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. The first question I want to ask about is some of the injuries. We didn't see Kobe Dillon and some other top contributors. Can you kind of speak to how long those players are potentially going to be out, and will the bye week help get some of these key contributors back for upcoming games in the season?
Well, I will say, unfortunately, with Kobe Dillon, it's still a little time away that he could be back in and be ready to go. But our other injuries, we feel real good about them, that we will have those guys. If we had to play this weekend here, these guys would be playing. The few that was left out, it's just by choice, just being smart, making some smart decisions as to why certain guys didn't play.
And a follow-up here, one of your all-conference transfers, Corian Harris, had a big game this weekend, led the team in tackles. Can you speak to his development and what he is bringing to your defense this season?
He brings a lot of experience about that, a lot of knowledge of the game. And then, he's just been playing well this whole season thus far. We take a look at a young man that played a lot of college football. But, it's always a blessing to have a young man like that to blend in with some other guys that can play some exciting football. So to have him back there, it's almost like having a quarterback back there, because he gets everybody in place and getting ready to go.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Prairie Daniels.
Yes, Coach Dooley. Can you talk about the effects of the issue game that may have carried over to this week against Texas Southern, be it physically or emotionally, for your Jaguar football team?
Had none, no effect. Had no effect. We came out and played a very good Texas Southern football team, and of course, I'm not pleased with the way that we perform. I'm very, very disappointed because I did expect a whole lot more. But playing that game against LSU had no effect on us emotionally or for us physically. So I'm in great shape to play a contest. So that had nothing to do with it. Just had everything to do with us, what we didn't do and what we were capable of doing as players and coaches.
Coach Dooley, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next up, we go to Texas Southern. Texas Southern head coach Clarence McKinney. I do see coaches with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
Yeah, I went up to Arlington. Played. It was a great win for our program. Total team effort. We played efficient on offense, although opportunities to score points off of turnovers we didn't take advantage of. Thought we were sound in the kicking game. Our coverage teams did a great job. Our kicker did a great job in making 1 out of 2 field goals and making his extra points. And I thought our defense played outstanding. I think we got 3 turnovers. We gave up some yards, but we didn't give up any points. And I thought that was crucial to the outcome of the game.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach McKinney.
Good morning, Dr. Cavill.
Coach, after the game, saw some emotion there. Can you willing to share with us a little bit of what was some of that emotion in terms of touring after that game?
It's an emotional sport, you know, and you see the way guys put into it, and for our team to have the success that we had on the other night versus a extremely well-coached team as in Southern, you know, I was just proud of our kids.
No doubt. Well deserved. Last question I have in terms of is obviously your offense is starting to seem to get back to what it was able to do a lot last year. But more importantly, your defense. You know, a lot of folks have had some questions about your defense, but it showed up strong. You talk about shutting out any team, but particularly the way they were physical and provided the turnovers that set your offense up, even though, as you stated, you didn't necessarily score on all of them. Talk about how your defense really carried a lot of the momentum in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Our defense took it to another level, and anytime you can keep a team out of the end zone, it creates energy for your defense. Guys took pride in the way they wanted to execute the game plan and played their assignments. And so I couldn't be more proud of those guys. Our coaches put together a great game plan defensively, and the executed it well.
No doubt. Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Take care.
Thank you.
Goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the guys are well. Congratulations on that victory. Talk a little bit about Andrew, the offensive production, the passing game, the running attack, as well as the receiving.
Yeah, well, we try to be as balanced as we can be to you know, not basically to keep the defense guessing and not knowing exactly what we're trying to do. And as the leader of that, he gives us the ability to run some things where we have RPOs or QB run options, and he throws the ball really well. And so he helps us when the things don't work the way we draw it up. He can make plays with his feet and keep plays alive, and he's just a weapon that we're glad to have in our program.
Moving forward, just talk about continuing to move forward and look for another victory to stay competitive.
Yeah, we definitely want to ride this wave of energy. Winning, you know, some solves everything, and we still have some things that we have to get back to work and keep this thing rolling.
What about SA? Have you looked? What are you seeing so far?
Yeah, we're looking at. We've looked at them. They're a big, strong, physical, fast team. Probably the best team that we've set eyes on so far this season, and it's going to be a challenge. You know, they're Conference USA champion, and they got guys back. We got our hands full.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you. You as well.
Next question goes to Zach McKinnell.
Zach McKinnell from the Blue Bloods here. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How's it going, Zach?
Not too bad. I want to go to the defensive side of the ball. Isaiah Hamilton has been a leader for that secondary for the past 2 seasons. I believe right now he's the highest graded cornerback in the SWAC this season. Can you speak about his development and him being a leader in the back end of the defense?
Yeah, he's an extremely hard worker. He's a very talented young man, but he doesn't rest on his God-given abilities. He works as hard as anyone in our program, harder than a lot of people. He takes pride in what he's doing out there on the field. I wouldn't say he's so much of so much of a leader, but he's a guy who does his job and he takes pride in doing his job, and we appreciate him for that.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck next weekend.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Brian Bearfield.
Morning, Coach McKinney.
Good morning, Sarge.
Can you just talk about the play of your quarterback, Andrew Body? He, when I seen him play against Prairie View earlier this year in the first game of the year, he looked like he was still getting his feet up under him. Can you talk about how important he was in that game against Southern?
Yeah, he's important. He's the key to what we're doing. He's extremely important. He's the leader, both on and off the field, but he has the ability to make plays. And I think that's what gives our guys the belief that we have a chance to win games, because they know as long as Andrew has the ball, there's a chance to make a play. He's still maturing within our system and learning little things that he needs to know as a quarterback. And so there's still room for improvement. And we just try and let him go out there and have fun and relax and play ball, do the things that he likes to do.
Is he almost like having on the field? Does he take everything that you want done and execute it on the field? I know that, plays happen to whereas everything can't be executed 100%, but for what you want to get done in your game plan, does he do that on the field?
He's definitely like a coach on the field. And we have conversations away from the field house and away from the field. There are certain things that he wants to do, and he runs it by me, and we have those coach quarterback conversations, and it's not my team, it's his team. The best teams, I think, are player led, and he's doing a great job of leading us so far.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time to speak to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Again, to our media, we ask that you please limit your questions to two questions. One initial question and then a follow-up. Next up, we'll be joined by Coach Sanders with Jackson State.
How's everyone doing? Sorry,
morning, Coach.
But where are we?
Morning, Coach.
I'm in Colorado, so I don't even know where I am. I apologize.
Oh, take your time. Take it, Coach.
I got to knock this out quick. Let me get this in because I feel faint.
And for our media, please use the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach.
Okay, you ready?
Quick question and follow-up. Good morning, Coach.
How you doing?
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, you started a statement about your team most recent outing versus
We
Grambling.
played against a wonderful team coached by a dear friend, Hugh Jackson, which he's come a long way from when he just inherited this team. And they're going to be something in the near future if they just allow him to do what he's capable of doing. We started out slow, had a tremendous amount of turnovers. Then we went into halftime and got it together and came out and played sound, fundamental football like we're capable of playing. We're happy and elated for the win. They created a tremendous challenge in the first half. They were dominant in the first half a lot more than we were. Got it together.
Appreciate those opening comments. First question goes to Charles.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
How you doing, boss?
I wanted to ask a little bit about halftime speech and it's specifically in terms of having the pulse of this team. You said what you needed to say in regards to how they played in the first half, but you came back out and you said it's not too late to dominate. You know, you didn't fuss or cuss or anything of that nature, but just having the pulse of this team.
We got a lot of talent, and it's very challenging for some of the players because they're not getting as much playing time as they would like. But that comes at practice. So if we don't see it at practice, we don't expect to see it in the game. Now, we're going to figure out why we hadn't put it all together since playing against FAMU. Because there, we put it all together, offensively, special teams. Now we go and play against Coach George's team. And it was just a lackluster, not effort, but we didn't put it together. Then we come this week and we have a dismal first half as well. It's almost like we think we're just going to roll out the football and that people are going to lay down for us. That's not how it's going to be. People are going to challenge us and they're going to come at us with everything they got. We're trying to figure out how to get off to a better start and eliminate some of the things that you've seen me constantly preach against: the fumbling, the offsides, the holding, the passing, the interceptions, the pass interferences, and all. We got to figure.
Quick follow up to that, Coach. I wanted to ask about the cohesion of this offensive line. Through 3 games, you're averaging 158 yards per game versus last year, the game only 46 yards per game.
Well, that's because it's only one guy that's on the season that's starting, and that's our left tackle. So having those new faces and understand how we want to work, be cohesive, move the football. We dedicated to running the ball, not just sitting back there thinking Shedeur is going to save us in the fourth quarter like he did last year. That's not going to happen. We really went out and addressed our issues of running the football, and as well as the running backs as well, and the tight ends. They're blocking their butts off. So this is truly a team effort. The coaches are doing a phenomenal job with emphasizing that in inside run drills as well as practice. Thank you, my man.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, you're talking about your running game, and a big part of your running game on Saturday was Wilkerson. Just talk a little bit about the dynamic he brings to the team, a good physical runner that he is.
Say that once again. I'm sorry.
Oh, just Wilkerson, the running back. Talk about his contribution to the team and how physical runs the football.
Oh my God, he's very physical. He hits. He's aggressive. One plant go, and he do you whether you want it or not. And it has ignited the offensive line because we know they have. We got a few guys that can hit it, but no one hits it like he's been. And of it, man, because he's the quiet killer, man. He don't say much, worked his butt off, climbed up the depth chart, and when he got the opportunity, he took advantage of it. Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to James Hill.
I hope you guys are well. Shedeur, man, he's on a whole nother level. Can you talk a little bit about Shedeur? 21 to 31, 357 and 4, just sizzle.
Yeah, he was a little off in the first half. He had some personal things on his mind that he needed to go. We got that straight at halftime. But if we protect this kid, we're going to see numbers like that every darn game. If we could run the football, we're going to see numbers like that every darn game. Hats off to Brett Bartolome. I mean, our coordinator, he's doing a phenomenal job of dialing it up and knowing what he doesn't like. And I got to give Shedeur a lot of credit. He gets us into plays and situations that we need to be in. Like, regardless if the play comes from the sideline, he can look at the defense and make sure we're calling the right thing. So he has the liberty to change what he wants to change. And he's been pretty successful thus far doing that. But I'm proud of him as a father, and I adore it as a coach.
Coach, a big game this weekend. Valley's coming in. Everybody in the Magnolia State and everywhere else watching for that matter. But talk a little bit about this big game this weekend. It's all about Mississippi.
Well, I can't start off talking about this game without talking about my dear friend, Coach Dancy. You talk about a guy I love, I appreciate, and a guy that can coach his butt off. my God, it's unbelievable. I know he's going to come ready and prepared. His defense has a commitment to excellence. I know they've been through a rough patch in all sides of the program, but they will come ready to play. I promise you that.
Thank you. Have a blessed week. Safe
You as
travels.
well.
Question goes to Zach McKinney.
How you doing, Coach?
How you doing, sir?
You've talked about the depth of your wide receiving core, but one of the consistent threats these first 3 weeks has been transfer Dallas Daniels. Can you speak about how he's been able to establish himself as one of the top receivers for your team?
When Dallas first got to Jackson State, he put his head down and went to work. Last week, he put his head down and went to work. The first week, he put his head down and went to work. The thing about Dallas Daniels is he's consistent with who he is. When you're consistent with who you are, the ball somehow finds you. And this kid is a pro. Every scout that comes in, I say, that is a pro. The way he goes about his job, the way he takes care of his body, the way he comes in and out of breaks, the way he catches the football, the guy is a pro. I just really requested that pro see more targets, because if he has more targets, he's going to put up numbers every week. The kid is phenomenal. He's a true problem to deal with.
And a quick follow-up with the Valley matchup. I know it's just Monday, so the film review has just started. Have there been any players on film that have really to you and the staff as players that you guys are going to have to deal with this upcoming weekend?
I don't want to say that, because then I would be forgetting another player, and he gets sensitive and all that kind of stuff. The whole team we got to deal with. Coach Dancy is going to have this whole team ready and prepared, including special teams. Let's not forget special teams, because they could make or break you, and we're praying that they make us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Last goes to Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, sir.
On the road to Shedeur Sanders. You answered the question earlier about him. No interceptions. He spreads the ball over various wide receivers. As you talked about, he gets you out in different plays. Talk about the pros pro, but what he's done this year from somebody that's just a sophomore, I'm amazed in terms of what we're seeing. Can you talk about what is attributing to all the things that have the rest of these having right now?
Shedeur, his growth. I mean, he was a freshman starting at quarterback, taking on this responsibility back on him because of some of the statements he made, but also being my son and playing for Jackson State. The kid led us to a darn SWAC championship. The kid had 30 touchdowns. The kid had 3,000 yards or something close to it. He was phenomenal. I think going into the hospital, I think he only had like 4 or something like that. So his study habits, the way he approaches practice, the way he approaches the game, but the way he prepares. If you know how much time he puts in watching film and preparing, by the time we get to the game, he could look over that. We know he's blitz right there, and he checks us out that play and put us in something he desires for us to be in. But Coach Brett, that's been working with him diligently to everything comfortable for him, and the more comfortable he is, the better we're going to go. When he goes, it's going to be hard to deal with us. And add on to that, we have a running game now. It's going to be hard to deal with it. And your defense is consistent with who they are. We had some hiccups last week, but they're going to be consistently getting us the ball back. And we have a plethora of receivers, running back that can pound it, a couple other backs that can dance. Didn't punch it in the week before in Tennessee. We didn't punch it in, but we had them before.
You talk about also teaching men for life, and you're looking for standard of excellence.
Yes.
Dominance. Talk about how you, when you do stations, but understanding need for dominance, are always trying to get better. Well, you've seen it at the highest level. Where does it come from, and why is that so important when you're talking to young individuals, particularly in this
because
age?
we got a plethora of young people that just want to fit in with the crowd and the cliques. And whosoever wills. And they're forgetting that there's a level of commitment, there's a level of perfection that you can claim if you desire it. When they start to follow, watch the pattern leading you, so you need to start unfollow them because it don't make sense. So many leaders, I just say it like this. Just because you're walking in the front don't mean youngsters following people walking in the front. And I pray and who, what, when for our future, truly our future. And I'm willing to invest everything I got in. You running me off?
Thank you, Coach. Safe travel.
Zoom recording momentarily. As always, we appreciate your participation and we look forward to having you all join. Thank you.